Yo, yo, yo. It's welcome to Pitch Report. I'm Emil Carr.
And this is Mr. Leo.
All right, as you guys can hear, we have Mr. Leo as a guest again. Thank you for joining us. Mario is still on vacation. Must be nice.
Hey, I'm getting some reps in, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you know, someone's got to keep the lights on here at Pitch Report, so we had to bring in the reinforcements.
I might be taking over. Who knows?
Yeah, it might turn into like three of us. You know, for those of you that followed us from the original, it used to be 2 mics, 1 World Cup. It might be like 3 mics. You know, next World Cup or something like that. Oh man, so we'll jump right into it. We got a lot of good things to talk about, I think, today that I'm excited to chat about with you. First one, I think you're gonna break us down, right? On STFC, I think we had a big win this last week.
Yeah, quick breakdown. We played the Houston Dynamo, which not a very good team statistically, right? Statistically, and we were able to take the win, especially on the road, which is big, right? 4-2, which all the goals pretty much came in the last 10-15 minutes of the match, which was pretty wild to watch. It was pretty uneventful, like most of the game, but statistically, like they were pretty even, except for possession. Obviously, SEFC is very good at that, and that's how they kind of got scored on the second goal, and they came back able to tie it up and take the lead. So, 2 goals from Dreyer, Luca de la Torre scored, and then Pellegrino with a goal and an assist, which is pretty crazy. Just because one of the assists came accidentally off a cross, but not sure if you watched it. But good win. I mean, keeps them up in first place.
Dude, Dreyer is nuts, man. I feel like every time we watch a game, all you hear is, or like you always end up hearing like that he scores a freaking goal, man.
Dude, I like this might be a hot take right here, another one, but it started off as like Chucky Lozano's FZFC. It's definitely Dreyer's FZFC. Like Chucky has been good, but Dreyer has been way better. Like as far as like being that leader and goal scorer and like all around, like just good for the team.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Not about the Dreyer thing, but I think I saw something that they were interviewing Sverkov as like the captain and stuff. And I was asking my sister, I was like, why did they pick him to be the captain? Like out of all people, like why this random dude? Like there's obviously no tenure because it's starting off new, but like you'd think they'd pick like Chucky, probably Chucky just because he's like the biggest name. Like I have no idea why he's the captain of the team.
Who, Dreyer? I mean,
no, not Dreyer.
Or
I think it's Sverkov.
Yeah, that's super random too. Yeah, like I have noticed that actually, but like, I mean,
maybe it was like the oldest player or something. I'm like, I don't even know how you go about that. Like, I guess maybe you're like just a leader on the practice squad.
Yeah, I'm guessing like that's how you picked them, right? As far as like probably just seeing how they interact. I mean, Chucky Lozano, I've never seen him with a captain band, and that doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't mean he's like a bad dude or anything, but you do have to have like some type of leadership or like type of maturity and whatnot to like be that team captain, right? So it could be just like if you're a midfielder or a defender, that it comes a lot easier because you're able to watch like a lot more of the field a lot better. So that could be something that has a role in it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Or I mean, he does enough talking with the refs. Like, so I guess in terms of the maturity, it's probably good that he's not a captain because then he'd just be getting riled up more than he already does.
I don't think we could have Chucky be captain, dude.
Yeah, but you could have done like the easy go-to. I feel like is always like the goalie. The goalie is just easy because like I feel like goalies are captains fairly often. So I feel like that would have been the easy pick. But I guess CJ Los Santos is pretty young too, so maybe that's why they didn't end up going with him.
But you're probably right. He's just probably an older dude, like a little bit more mature and whatnot. So especially like overall, the team's fairly young. You know, like there's some older dudes, but yeah.
Yeah, so exciting. I mean, they aren't going to win the Supporters Shield because Philadelphia claimed that earlier this week. But we're still in the fight to have home field advantage, at least for the West, until the final. So still stoked about that. We got a game this weekend, so hopefully we can keep stacking the wins. I think as long as we win out, we'll be the winners of the West. So
yeah, pretty much. So we'll be visiting Portland, which in theory we should win. But even I mean, we should win because Vancouver is. They also have a match pending this weekend. I think they might have two. But either way, they're playing Orlando, and we need to win, basically, to have that home field advantage. We don't want to be second, and to take the West, really. So it'd be pretty cool to take the West and start off at home in the playoffs and go from there, which I don't know if you've looked at the playoff kind of thing for MLS. I had never paid attention until now. It's kind of weird, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's funny that we talk about like having home field advantage. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about like, honestly, STFC probably doesn't want home field advantage because they can't score a goal at home. So maybe they should get home field advantage and be like, actually, we don't want it. Like, we'll play away every match. Please, like, let us play away.
Yeah, they should just like have something happen at Snapdragon so they can't play at home and they play elsewhere, dude. Because we were much better as a visitor than we are as a home team.
Yeah, literally. I think we haven't won a game at home in like months,
dude.
But then every time we go away, we win. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. I think we were talking about kind of young players and having a young team. I think something that we've seen in the news a lot honestly, probably like last couple months, but more like the last months, and probably near and dear to your heart. But talking about Gilberto Mora and like just how crazy his market's kind of heating up, and he played really well in the Gold Cup, and that's kind of what put him on the world, like
the map.
Yeah, on the map. Yeah. There you go. That's the word I want to use. Put him on the map, and then now he plays for Cholos, which is great because it's like super close to us. Just cross over the border. But now they're basically like, we're gonna sell him at some point, and then now they're just kind of bubble wrapping him, making sure he's ready for like the World Cup. He's not playing the under-17, not playing the under-20 World Cup, like not playing anything. Just to sell him right after the World Cup. So how do you feel about that as like a Mexico fan, and then obviously just as a fan of like I think Liga MX, because I think history shows it's a little interesting. I think
so. It's super exciting, right? Because I do think like it might be too soon, but like he has the opportunity and like the talent to be like a generational talent. Mm-hmm. Like he's very young, and to be that good this young is very impressive. But we do need to like basically like kind of shield him from like bad advice, right? So like, because we've seen that before, like where players go too soon to Europe and they just like they don't perform. It's too much pressure. They get homesick. Like it happens a lot with younger players, right? So. I'm super excited for him, but he seems pretty mature for his age. Like he's very centered on like staying and performing like for Cholos and for the national team. And like there's a lot of interest from a lot of clubs around the world, really. Like the biggest one, Real Madrid. And I learned today he's a Madrid fan.
Oh, no way. Okay,
so
sweet.
He's a huge Madrid fan. So hopefully that works out like later in the future, right? And he's actually... There's a possibility he plays 3 World Cups. So he could play under 20, and I think under 17 is coming up, and then he'll play in the first team. So, like, I don't know. It's exciting, but hopefully he has good people around him that it can steer him the right way, because it's happened before. Like I said, one big example that, we've chatted about is Andres Guardado. When he played for Atlas, he was like 17, 18 years old. Mm-hmm. They sent in a interest card from Madrid saying they wanted to get him over to Castilla. And they told him like, oh, don't go because you'll be playing second division, which in my opinion, I'd rather play second division in Spain than first division in Mexico. Like, especially for Real Madrid, right? Yeah. You're not going to be watched anywhere else by the scouts more often than playing in the second division, right? But it didn't happen. They got Marcelo, and I love Marcelo. He's a legend, right? So like, not gonna complain about that, but like, it's just kind of crazy to think that he could have been that guy, But he was ill-advised and stayed, and he still had a great career. But
yeah, I think I just looked up like the teams that are really interested in him. I think we saw Barcelona, Man City, Real Madrid. And funny, on ChatGPT, it says both rumor and player aspiration. Interest is often cited. So, like you said, he's a Real Madrid fan. So, and then they put some Mexican teams also, like America and Cruz Azul, which is your team, like thinking about trying to keep him domestic if that ends up happening. But From what I was reading, it was like Cholos are looking like north of 20 plus million for him, and I think there's been some offers. I think they said somewhere in like the 6 to 8 million, and Cholos is like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah. But they're basically waiting for the World Cup. I think they think he's going to make a big splash, and I think all signings are like really inflated post World Cup. I think of like James Rodriguez, like no one really knew who he was. He had a massive World Cup, and then like that Keylor Navas for Real Madrid too, same thing. Like all these players. So if he has a good World Cup, like we could be talking like 30, 40 million, like Vinicius Jr. money, Endrick money, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible for sure. Like, and hopefully he doesn't have all that pressure on him where he doesn't perform well, right? But that's another thing we've talked about, like a lot with I feel like with the Mexican teams, all they look for is money as far as when they try to sell off players. One, young players don't really get to play. They always like have a lot of foreigner players come in and play, and then older players where they just keep them playing. And seeing 16-year-olds or like even anything under 20 play as starters in the Mexican league is super rare. Like you see it all the time in like English league or France or Spanish league, right? But it's a lot more rare in Mexico for sure. But it's cool that he's getting the opportunity, and hopefully they're not so greedy with money where they can't get him to a good place for him to play and build his career. But I think him going to Castilla would be like a really good chance. Like, I mean, there's nothing better than playing in Europe and playing for the team that you like, probably his childhood dream, really.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I think I just looked up his age. He's 16 years old, and he turns 17 in like 6 days or something like that, October 14th. So it's giving like Lamine Yamal kind of vibes, like just being really, really good at a young age and just being thrown into it. However, I don't know how it works in terms of like signing a player before they're 18, because usually you have to wait until you're 18. But I think it's like if your family moves with you and like their like new residence is in Spain or England or wherever it is, then you can sign players like before. And that's why I think Messi was able to be signed super early, because his whole family just moved to Barcelona, and then they could sign him early. But then like Endrick, they have to wait till he was 18 because they, did that, and then Valverde, all that stuff, same thing. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting, man. Hopefully it works out. I mean, for Mexico's sake too, to have like a potentially generational talent, yeah, that'd be really exciting.
Yeah, and like with Mastantuno, they did the same thing. They signed him as a cantonero, so like that's how they were able to get him on the team before he turned 18, and then turned 18 and played in the first team. But yeah, I mean, and then just to quickly touched on the Mexico thing again, like they beat Chile 4-1 in the round of 16 in the under-20 World Cup, and I think Gilberto got an assist there, but like he's had really good performances throughout. And I mean, you eliminated, or you play in a what they consider the group of death for this World Cup, which was Morocco, Spain, and Brazil. Brazil got eliminated. And Spain, I think they just they were able to go through.
Yeah, they just got in as like the kind of wild card team, like 1/3 place team. Yeah. So
I mean, to be second place in a consider, like, I mean, Morocco beat both Brazil and Spain, right? Yeah. And then we ended up tying with them, I believe. And I mean, crazy, dude. Like, I mean, we always perform really well in like these under 20, under 17 like World Cups, and then you see the big, like the first team, and you're like, what the fuck's happening, dude? Like, we're all these dudes. Like I think where like there was the most hope for us to be like really freaking good was like Carlos Vela and Jonathan Dos Santos and Gio. Like, dude, like those dudes were good. Like, I think if they stuck to it, like I think Gio could have been like the next Ronaldinho, which he was on track to being the next Ronaldinho in Barca. Yeah, and like but I think he partied too much, just like he did. And then Carlos Vela just he didn't like the sport as much, like he didn't have the passion for it, so he's like, yeah, I'm out.
But yeah, man. I mean, that's a perfect transition to talking about like the under 20 World Cup, which is going on right now, like you said, in Chile. and we're in the quarterfinals now, which is kind of wild. And like U.S. is still in it, which is something you kind of feel like don't hear about it. I mean, they still have to play against Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, they're playing Italy, and then Morocco's playing South Korea for those final 2 spots in the quarterfinals. But we have Spain against Colombia, and then Mexico against Argentina. That'll be a good, just historically a good match. Maybe a sour spark, because Mario always talks about
we're throwing punches that game, dude.
Yeah, Mario always talks about the PTSD he has with that Maxi Rodriguez goal. So,
dog, I have nightmares of that goal, dude. I think that might have been like one of the first times I cried watching a soccer game. Like, that was heartbreaking.
Dude, I can imagine, man. But it's crazy. I will say something that I find interesting when I'm looking at these like under 20 World Cups. Like, it's still a lot of the same teams that you kind of historically see in the like senior World Cups.
Yeah.
I mean, Morocco, obviously they've had a resurgence in their football as of like the last 5-10 years. A lot of people like picking Moroccan citizenship over Spanish or French or a lot of other nationalities. Colombia, historically pretty good. Spain, Mexico, Argentina. Norway's the kind of surprising one, which is funny because like Norway, their senior team with Holland and all these guys. Who else? Odegaard's on that team, Holland, and then Rasmus Højlund or whatever. Yeah, the guy that moved to Napoli. Yeah. So like they have a pretty stacked like at least team going forward, and I don't think they've made a World Cup yet. So like maybe this World Cup coming up might be the first one.
I think they qualified for this next one.
Yeah. And the crazy part is like we're just going on a total tangent here. It's like people talk so much smack about Ronaldo not winning a World Cup, but then like obviously his teams were stacked like when he was really young, when he was like 18 years old. I mean, he had Figo, he had everybody. But then there was like 10 years where it was him basically dragging the team to everything. And it's like you have Holland with Odegaard, which is also like another stud midfielder. You have like all these players, and they still can't even qualify for World Cup. So like it just kind of puts into perspective like what Ronaldo did. I mean, and now obviously he's like kind of another golden era with Portugal, so not as much now. But like for like those 10, 15 years in the middle, like dude, he literally carried them by himself to just like drag them to like quarters, at least into the World Cup.
Yeah, because like I mean, looking back at some of the Portuguese teams or squads, I guess, especially like after some of the bigger names like retired or weren't as good, like after like kind of the Figo era, like it was all Cristiano pretty much. Like and like you were saying that he carried the team, and like you would have like very few in between like good players. Like maybe you would have like one really good midfielder and one good defender, like and then Cristiano, right? So like so it's like you have Pepe, you had Cristiano, and then maybe like you would like for a little bit you had Deco or like a couple other dudes, and but like you can't win a World Cup with like 3 like high caliber players. Like you could probably do some damage, but you're not gonna win.
Well, they won a Euro. Cup. I mean, that's what's crazy. A Euro and 2 Nations Leagues, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, obviously, like the most recent squad when they won was it the Nations League?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I mean,
they're stacked,
dude, stacked. I mean, it's basically PSG played against Spain, like so.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, still, like it's a hard, like I don't think you could base off of like who's the best in the world or best ever, like off of World Cups, because there's been so many players like in every single sport that have like been historic or like just legendary players, and like maybe they didn't win like that World Cup, or they didn't win a World Series, or or like they didn't win a Ballon d'Or. Like you can't base it off of that. Like not a Barca fan, obviously, right? But Xavi and Iniesta, like they had the qualities to be Ballon d'Or like winners, like. But
someone say they got robbed. I don't know, not me.
I mean, not me, but like. Other dudes like Ribéry, they're like, there's been so many names out there that like dudes that should have probably won a World Cup or like one of these like top tier like awards, then they just didn't. Doesn't mean they weren't good.
Yeah, totally. And that I think brings up a good point of like how much is team success like shown by individual success. Like I think soccer is such a hard sport to like individually say like, oh, one player can carry the team. I mean, Ronaldo, and you could argue like Messi as well, like when he had his like not great teams. Like right now, he's also like another really big Argentina golden era. But those years, that's just such an anomaly. Like players like Messi and Ronaldo, like doesn't really exist. Like when in basketball, like, you can have one star player, they can kind of take over games. Like even like in football, if your quarterback is just a stud, like I mean, we're talking about Justin Herbert. Like this guy is running for his life every down, and he's making things happen, right? And you can do that. But in soccer, it's so hard, and like how much, like saying that someone didn't win a World Cup or didn't win a Euro, or didn't win something. Like I don't think that really, I don't know. It doesn't factor in as much. I don't know.
No, I agree because you can only control so much. Mm-hmm. Like you could be like, you could be Cristiano playing with a bunch of like scrubs, right? And like you can only do so much. You can try and outscore your opponent, but if you have like a bad defense, like you can't do nothing. Like you said, maybe in football, like you can make things happen. Like as a quarterback, like I used to really dislike Tom Brady until I watched a video on him, and I realized how good he was.
TB12, man.
Yeah, like the dude's an animal, right? So like he was able to carry a really bad team into like a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, but you can only do that like in specific sports, like. But soccer's so hard. You can't defend. You can't be everywhere. So, but yeah, like I agree. Like
yeah. So like to put a bow on it, I think we're gonna be following the Mexico under 20 team, but like the under 20 World Cup. I don't know how the brackets work here, but it'd be very interesting if it's a Spain-Mexico match. That'd be fun to watch in the semis.
Yeah, we'll be following both. Like I'm partially Spanish now. I think like my ancestors are Spanish for sure, but Mexican heart, dude.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. It's gonna be, dude. I want to watch that Mexico Argentina. Like, I mean, that's just historically like a good match, you know. Like there's a lot of animosity between the two teams.
And you can argue sometimes these kids like under 20, these kids are like more passionate about it than some of the senior people, because like senior, they're like all this money, they have like a family, I don't know. These kids, like, this is all they know, all they have is like I'm playing soccer, like this is all I know.
And I'm telling you, these dudes grew up disliking the other team for sure. Like you probably like these kids watch like all those videos on Argentina like kicking her ass, like in like the I think it was the 2006 World Cup, like
for a couple World Cups. It was like every year it was like the first match after the group stage was like, oh, Mexico, Argentina.
We're like, dude, like they have our number, dude. Like it's they're a good team, but like I hate them. Not like I hate Argentinians, but like just like sports wise, like I hate them.
Yeah, it's okay. We understand, Mr. Leo. Don't worry.
So you need to clarify out there. You know, I don't know if Mario /HR is listening.
I'm sure. I think Mario's probably gonna get on a flight soon, so maybe he'll tune in for his flight. But to keep things like kind of like along the lines of national team duty, something that I was kind of looking at, and that I think has been in the news as well, that I want to kind of hear your opinion on, is like injuries, and like especially with young teams or young players. I think we've talked about this in the past in the podcast. It's just like, how young is too young? How many games are too many games? Like now, I think I saw something about like Lamine Yamal played like 160 full matches, and like Pedri, who was also like a young phenom, had played 60, and then Iniesta had played 40, and then like Ronaldo had played even less, Messi even less than that. So like playing 3, 4, 5, 6 times as much. Like he was also kind of thrown in as like a 16-year-old, but. One of the big things he's kind of been dealing with right now is like injury. And it's his first injury really in his career, at least something more significant.
He's called like pubis or
like groin issues, something like that. And there's been kind of like a fight. I don't know if you've been following it, between like Barcelona and the Spanish national team about like, I think Hansi Flick was really upset at Spain because they said that he played his last match. That he was already injured, and he was on painkillers, and he played, and he got even more injured, so he came back to Barcelona. Now he can't play. And then they, I guess, had just called him up. Spain did, and then Barcelona released, oh, hey, he's actually injured for 3 weeks, so like now Spain couldn't call him up. Yeah. So how do you, like, what do you think about like that whole back and forth? And do you, like, how much do you think like it's the player's responsibility to play for their country? Because I think a lot of people I hear, it's like, it's a privilege to play for your country, you know what I mean? And like some people are like, when I hear broadcasters that have played football, they're just like, yeah, like that was like, I would live and die for that, you know, over your club. Like, what's your kind of thought on that? Like, as like from like a player's perspective, I guess I
think I'm kind of torn between two like trains of thought. So like I agree with like that's like your responsibility. If you get called up, you're gonna go, right? But the other thing is like back then they were playing a lot less games, like significantly less games per season, right? So, and you weren't seeing like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds play as much either, like back then. So like, I guess that could mess with their growth, as far as like biologically, which I think that's one of the issues that Lamine Yamal is going through, like where he's going through like a growth spur almost, and like his body like is evolving, and like all this like physical stress on it, like, or maybe not necessarily the physical stress, but like as you're growing, like you hear little kids like, oh, my knees hurt, this, like they're going through a growth spur, so like that could be something that I've heard that could play a role in it. But if they're injured, they're injured, and if they need rest, they need rest. Like you're playing a lot more games, right? And you're not going to a World Cup right now. Like it's kind of hard to say. Like it just kind of, I don't know, dude. Like I think for me personally, I'd go play. Like I wouldn't make something up that you're injured, but I mean he has missed games, so he probably is injured. So like that whole back and forth, I think it's like a bunch of rubbish, dude. Like I forget what the name for the national team coach. What's the Spanish national team's coach?
Oh, Luis de la Fuente.
De la Fuente was like saying like, I don't care what he said, like about Hansi Flick. I'm like,
Yeah.
that guy's a savage. He's like, he's coming. Like I don't care what he said. Like
yeah, and I think the back and forth was like, if you can play for Sevilla, if you can play against Sevilla, you're coming to play. And then he was just like, oh shit, like then he didn't end up playing against Sevilla, and then he didn't get called up because they announced that. So, which the thing is, like, I see both sides of it. It's like, okay, you want to field your best team, yeah, sure, it's not a World Cup, but you're like, you want to start getting your team reps, right? And a lot of it's money. Like this is all like FIFA, right? So like you can't just say, oh, I'm not gonna allow my players to play, right?
Yeah. And
I think Barcelona also it hits close to home because this literally just happened to Gavi and it just happened to Pedri when they were on the Spanish national team. I think last year or the year before.
They got injured
and they were out for like 6 months, 8 months, and obviously they get some financial, kickback for the injuries, but it's not worth it. Like they want the players there because they're paying them a crap ton of money and they want to win, right?
Yeah, and I mean Gavi's been dealing with injuries ever since. They're like he hasn't really played since. He's like injured again. I think he's gonna have surgery or something. He's gonna be out for like 6 to 8 months. Mm-hmm. And then Pedri, I think he ended up having knee surgery for that injury that he suffered, and like he missed like the whole Euro Cup, and like it's a lot of stress to put like on a younger dude.
Totally.
As far as like fitness wise, right? Like they haven't like fully developed, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people I think a lot of the times the coaches, they talk out of both sides of their mouth with that because they're like, oh, we have to protect the players. And Hansi Flick's like, oh, well, no, like you guys need to protect them, this and that. But then I don't see him missing any Barcelona matches. Like he's going to the U.S. for all these money grab matches. Like he's playing, So it's like you can't make your cake and eat it too, It's like you gotta give somewhere,
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head, dude. Like I was gonna say that it's greed at the end of the day. Like De La Fuente wants him because he wants to build a really good Spanish team and wants to win on his side, but then Hansi Flick doesn't want him injured so long because then they already have like a long sheet of like injuries for Barca, but you just want him to like rest so he could play for you also. So it's like, like at the end of the day, like I mean they probably do care about the players, but like to an extent it's also greed because they gotta like show
they cover their ass. They gotta say their job.
You gotta show exactly. You gotta show results, right? So like. I mean, perfect example this last weekend, right? For Barcelona, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, no, and I think the interesting take is like on the Real Madrid side of things, like Mastantuano is also injured, and Mbappe was like kind of injured. He got like pulled in like the 83rd, 84th minute. And I think Mastantuano is in Argentina, Mbappe is with the French national team, and they're like just kind of watching them and trying to make sure they don't get further injured. But they were released. Obviously, they don't have an option. Real Madrid doesn't have an option. They have to release them. But something I thought was interesting was Bellingham requested to not get called up by Thomas Tuchel, and because he said, oh, I don't feel like my 100. Like the last time I went out, I felt like, some like tightness and this and that. So like, I don't think I'm fully healthy.
Yeah.
But he did come off the bench and play this last match where he said he didn't feel super healthy. So it's kind of interesting that it's like almost the same exact situation, if not worse, I guess you could say, because I mean Bellingham obviously had surgery and stuff, right? Shoulder surgery, but Tuchel was like, hey, it's not worth. I think I saw a quote that says like it's not worth like kind of like ruffling feathers for you to come up. So it's like just stay there because I don't think he wanted to piss people off. So that's like a same situation, but like a different outcome, right? Where Tuchel's like, nah, it's all good. Like stay home, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, I think the players also got to be there, like an advocate for themselves. Mm-hmm. Like if they're not feeling 100%, like they're not. And I mean, like Bellingham still played, but he's not playing a full match, right? Where he could get injured and he's probably being limited on practice maybe. I'm not really sure. But the other thing that you could do is like if you want to really show like solidarity or whatever, like you just travel and you're like, hey dude, I'm not gonna play, but I'm here to like be with the fellas or like, you know, like show support for the team. So yeah, I don't know how long Mbappe is gonna be out either. Like I think it was a couple weeks supposedly for a sprained ankle, and like it looks like Valverde is injured too, and he's not traveling with Uruguay. But like I know, like I think it's like I'm 50-50. Like you like it, because I mean I grew up with that mentality over like, or at least like watching. Like especially like Carlos Vela, like that was a huge topic for Mexico. Where like the dude didn't want to join the national team. Like he would get called up, and he would always deny and turn it down. And then it got to a point like where like even like he was scoring a bunch of goals in the MLS and like he was going off, but like he never got called up because of that. He always said no, but it was because he didn't want to spend more time than he had to away from his family, which totally fair, right? But like. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decision ultimately at the end of the day that the player needs to make, but it's really contentious and it's kind of interesting. I had never really thought about kind of the back and forth and like the politics on national soccer versus like club soccer and kind of the push and pull and kind of how certain national teams operate. Because Spain clearly is like, I don't give a shit what the club team says, you're coming, and then England's like, hey, it's cool. It seems like Uruguay's also, yeah, it's cool. Like they can stay, you know. Also, maybe like the relationship they have with the team, you know. I've heard of like teams sending their own doctors, like, oh yeah, you can go to play the national team, but our doctors are going with you, you know. So
or like they get sent, or like they'll get sent up. They're like, hey, he can't play more than 5-10 minutes per match, right? Or like more than 45 or whatever. So like, I never thought about it either, like until like. And maybe it happened, but maybe we weren't paying attention, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like some of these national teams and, like, clubs, they just don't like each other and, like, they don't work together. And, like, it's just greed. Like, I mean, I think Spain and Barca is a perfect example, right?
And that's the fun part about the podcast. For the listeners, they get to hear something new, you know, and perspectives and stuff. And for us, it's, like, things that we never really thought to look into. And now we're starting to kind of open our eyes to it. And then also just think like, oh, like what do I think about that, you know? And that's I think the unique part of it. But yeah, like you kind of tease a little bit of the Spanish league. You want to give us a little bit of a rundown on kind of what happened in La Liga, and I think you want to touch on the EPL a little bit too.
Yeah. So, quick little refresher, I guess, on the standings. Real Madrid back on top, as it should be. Barcelona second, Villarreal, Betis, Atletico, and Sevilla. Those are the top six, and Elche is still up there. Athletic Club, I think they ended up winning and moved up in the standings. But yeah, Real Madrid won 3-1. I mean, kind of expected, right? I think we played. Forget I watched it. I can't remember.
I think
who?
Villarreal.
Yeah. We played Villarreal.
Now what a fake Real Madrid fan. No, I'm kidding.
Just watch too many sports this week, dude. Like between MLB and NFL and soccer and Mexican League, dude. Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude. But yeah, we played Villarreal, beat them 3-1. Vinny scored twice, which was cool. Like I think Mbappe let him take that penalty, and then Mbappe again scoring. And like you said, he went out injured with a sprained ankle after he scored his goal. And big surprise, Barca lost. Well, not big surprise for some of us. Maybe for Mario out there. But that's why he didn't show up. Really, probably.
Damn, we should have made that joke when we started.
Because Barcelona lost, so he didn't want to show his face.
Yeah, because
I get it.
When I went to Japan, it was when Real Madrid had got knocked out of the Champions League. So you guys are giving me shit about that. Dang, I should have capitalized on that.
Yeah. No, but at least like I had you back then. Yeah. He's on his own this time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be embarrassed too. But yeah, Sevilla scored 4 on him. Obviously, Sevilla pretty dominant in that game. Like I think they were up 2-0 by halftime or 2-1 by halftime, or actually Rashford scored in the first 5 minutes of the second half, and you just like, oh, they're gonna do it again because they always end up coming back, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I think it was funny to watch like their little hydration break that they do now, or they've been doing, and I forget the coach's name for Sevilla, but he used to coach Chivas, which is funny actually because like Mario's a Chivas fan, right? So the old coach beat his club, or one of his other club, right? So like he was saying like, hey, like don't fall back, like don't be confident, or like don't be scared of them. And like sure enough, like they ended up scoring 2 more and took the dub, dude, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think at a later time, we'll talk about like the high line and how they're like living and dying by the high line, But yeah, I think teams have learned how to kind of play against them, at least in this specific style. And they're also injury riddled.
Yeah,
I mean they had no Rafinha, no Lamine Yamal, so you got to give them some slack there.
Never.
And Lewandowski missed a penalty too that could have changed some things around. So. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for them. Luckily that there's like an international break, which I don't know if it's like lucky or not. Some teams like want to play the next match already, get it over with, get back on the on the winning side. Some teams are like, no, let's take a break. We need to regroup. Yeah. So hopefully if they want to break, like they got it now for a couple weeks.
For sure. Like especially if you're winning, you probably want to stay on that same pace. Mm-hmm. Like you're already in the rhythm. Like you're like locked in, right? So. Probably Barcelona wanted that break because it gives their players to have some more time to recover. Like you don't have to play an extra match of either Champions or La Liga. But like it was crazy to see like Cubarsí was playing like left back. Like that's how badly they're injured they are. Like or maybe Hansi Flick is just trying something new. I don't know, dude. Like, but somebody was saying like, is this a downfall of Hansi Flick? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, relax.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but, I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah. I was like, dude, like speaking too soon. Like,
that's typical,
it just started.
Typical of Spanish media.
Yeah,
it's like they lose a match. It's like it was like with Zidane, lose a match. Oh, it's over. I'm like, bro, relax.
Yeah. The other one that cracked me up is like Lamine Yamal came in as a sub like last match and like assisted a goal, I think for Lewa. Mm-hmm. And somebody's like, the king is back. It's like, dog, like 1 assist, like he's doing his job. Like let's relax. It's
always exaggerated. Not surprised.
But Atletico tied with Celta Vigo, which is crazy that I think it was just a fluke, dude. Like them beating us that bad. Obviously, they've never scored 5 on us.
Yeah.
So
they did win in the Champions League, also scoring 5 goals too. So
but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we know who their coach is. They're not gonna win. They're not gonna win that thing, dude.
But, you want to talk to us about Mario's other favorite team?
Oh, Chivas.
I was gonna say Man United.
Oh, Man United. Oh, let's
what's the update on our haircut friend?
He has a chance. He's at 1 out of 5 right now. They were able to beat Sunderland, which is probably pretty. I think they're pretty close to last place. So
we gotta look up.
They were above.
We gotta look up and see like how close he's gotten. Like has he gotten like 2 games, 3 games? Like
yeah, that'd actually be pretty interesting. But Sunderland is actually ahead of them on the standings. So they were actually able to be
much
better. Yeah. But it's still Sunderland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, which, I mean, at least they finally got a dub. Kind of like Chivas finally got something going. They were able to score 3 goals on a last place team.
Damn.
Congrats.
Mario's never going to take time off, man. He leaves and we're just bashing every one of his childhood teams.
What else does he like, dude? Like,
yeah, I know, right? What's baseball? No, we're not going to do baseball because we like the same teams. So.
But like, Yeah, another big surprise in like Chelsea beating Liverpool. You know, like
Is that a surprise though? I don't know. I feel like Liverpool's had like 3 or 4 matches where they've lost now back to back to back. So like, I think you got to sound the alarms for Arne Slot. Was it a fluke last year? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a hot. I mean, that's tough because I would expect Chelsea to be better. They should be better. Like they're in 7th place, so technically they would be out of European competition like next year, right? If the season ended today, which I mean still have so much left, but like after winning the Club World Cup, like you would expect them to be like at least top 3 in Champions League and their domestic league. But right now, our Arsenal's 1st place, Liverpool, and then surprisingly, Spurs are coming back up, and Man City were actually able to beat Brentford 1-0. I don't know, maybe it's Pep's comeback, dude.
Yeah. I mean, talk about people thinking that his life was over when he was losing these matches.
Hey, he proved me wrong, kind of, right?
Yeah, but Rodri got injured again, which is another frustrating one for Spain and for
Man City.
So
he'll get the Balón de Oro again next year for that. No.
Oh man, too soon.
But yeah, like it's a bummer for sure. Like
Yeah.
especially for like and I mean either way, I don't. He wasn't playing at the same level he was. Like he's been very like maybe strong word, but he's been pretty mediocre. Like compared to prior to his injury, right, and his last season where he was like that, like general or like midfield, like he controlled the pace of the game, right, for both Man City and Spain. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer to see.
Yeah. So what's our top 6 look like for EPL?
Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Bournemouth, whatever. Man City and Crystal Palace.
Okay, so a couple of the usual suspects and a couple of people sneaking in there. So the EPL is a fun league to watch just because like anybody can win any week.
Yeah. So like that's something I was thinking about today. I'm like they're like yeah, we might shit on some of these teams but like they can they make it really interesting for the most part. Like especially like Bournemouth like taking 4th place, Crystal Palace being up there, like Sunderland, like it was like I know they've won like Premier Leagues, some of these teams, but like it's not like a consistent like battle for it, but it's just pretty impressive to see like some of these lower like quote unquote lower tier teams competing, like, and I think that's one of the leagues where you see it a lot. I think you see it a lot in like the Italian league too, like where like it's more smaller clubs, like name wise, right? And they're like out there getting it,
Yeah, no, and that's fun to watch though, I will say.
Oh, 100%. It makes it super interesting.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that we got all that done. And the last thing I wanted to kind of just do a quick shout out to, a friend of the podcast, big announcement, big Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first billionaire soccer player. $1.4 billion net worth. Shout out, like I said, friend of the pod,
Yeah. We're trying to get him in. Like our schedule and his schedule hasn't been able to match up, so
it's like your people come my people.
Yeah,
we'll get him on here.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that crazy that he's. I mean, when your contracts are $200 million a year, like you're bound to get there. But crazy to think like 1.4 billion. Dude, probably gonna buy a team soon and then ride off into the sunset, man.
Yeah,
he's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. Like it's. I don't think you've heard of somebody like that before, really. Like where they get filthy rich. I mean, like, at least in soccer, right? Like, I've
never you got like Tiger Woods, you got Jordan, you have LeBron, like obviously, like in the other sports, but in soccer, I think it's him. I'm sure Messi's not far behind. I'm sure he's got to be pretty close. But yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot too, like outside of just soccer or football.
All the brands he owns.
But like all the brands he owns, all the endorsement he has, but. Yeah. Are there any other like billionaire athletes?
Oh, there's probably a ton. Probably like I think Mayweather might be a billionaire athlete. Obviously Jordan, Tiger like twice over, right? Once, then he got divorced, and then he came back.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mickelson's close with his new league and stuff. But yeah, there's gotta be a handful.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, maybe that'll be for the next one.
For the next one, yeah,
exactly. But yeah, so that about does it for today's episode. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate being part of your day, talking soccer and hanging out. Remember, you can find us on Instagram and X at _pitch report. And Mr. Leo, thank you so much for joining us and filling in for Mario. Or I guess you're kind of filling in for myself, and then I'm filling in for Mario, which Mario makes hosting look a lot easier than it is, because it's a lot more stressful to kind of keep the train on the tracks here.
Yeah, the setup's kind of tricky, it seems.
So thanks for joining us, and then hopefully I think Mario's going to be back for the next one, but if not, you're more welcome to join. Maybe we'll do an episode with all three of us.
Yeah, we need to do one all three for sure. That'll be fun.
Exactly. So I'm Amilcar.
And Mr. Leo.
Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.